I'm not a fool. You can't make soup out of a stone.
John Hurt, as the storyteller, finds himself in hot water when a very special recipe goes wrong.
Your punishment will be that you will tell me a story every night for a year. But of course, if you should run out of stories, I will hand you over to the cook and his boiling oil. Naturally. Naturally.
Is there a recipe for success in the business world? Well, in a few minutes, the business programme reports from Paris on the French water companies who want to buy out the British water industry. Also, are British companies being sold out by fund managers? And the takeover bid for Ireland's oldest whisky firm. That's after the news summary, which follows the break.
Everyone eats Kellogg's bran flakes out here. Some say they stop buffalo charging, lions attacking.
Crocodiles?
What? No crocodiles out here.
Courts let the sunshine in at their biggest ever summer sale with huge reductions in all departments at Courts Furnishing Stores and Courts Mammoth Superstores. It's on now.
Some things in life suit each other perfectly. Then again, some things don't. It's the same with life insurance. But with over 120 companies to choose from, how do you get an unbiased opinion on which policy suits you? Simple. From now on, ask for independent financial advice. Because the right life insurance policy can be a man's best friend.
Dr. Kurt Waldheim, President of Austria and former Secretary-General of the United Nations. Recent attention has been focused not on Dr. Waldheim's peacetime successes, but on what he did in the war. What part did he play in Hitler's war? Now, for the first time, Dr. Waldheim's war record is precisely traced, examined and cross-examined by top lawyers before 5 of the world's leading judges. Evidence has been provided by people who fought alongside Dr. Waldheim, by those who suffered at the hands of the German army, and by eminent experts with knowledge of how Hitler's military machine worked. A team of 30 historians, researchers and lawyers have worked for 12 months in 19 countries to find the 34 witnesses who gave evidence. Their testimonies were given behind locked doors over a period of 10 days. You can hear that evidence and the judges' opinions in Waldheim, a commission of inquiry.
Channel 4, tonight, 7:45.
Time now for the latest news summary on Channel 4 from Fiona Armstrong.
The Labour leader Neil Kinnock has said the party no longer needs a policy of something-for-nothing unilateralism. He said the logjam over arms negotiations between Mr Reagan and Mr Gorbachev had been broken, so that the old-style CND unilateralism was no longer required. Speaking in a BBC television interview, he said Labour was still in favour of decommissioning Trident, but that what we would get in return would be a bonus for Britain and a bonus for the world. The Foreign Secretary, Sir Geoffrey Howe, says talks with Iran over compensation for damage to the Iranian embassy in London are not part of wider negotiations for the release of British hostages in Beirut. Britain is considering paying £1 million for damage done to the Iranian embassy during a siege there 8 years ago. At least 68 people are now said to have died in yesterday's train explosion in the Soviet Union, and more than 200 have been injured. Most of the victims were sitting in cars and lorries at a railway crossing near the closed city of Gorky. The freight train exploded as it approached the station. A special government commission has been set up to find the cause of the blast. Rescuers in West Germany have recovered another 8 bodies from the coal mine in Borken. There are now 45 confirmed dead. They say there's little chance of finding any more survivors of Wednesday's blast. The 6 miners rescued yesterday have revealed that they established radio contact with the rescuers just hours after the blast, but were told to avoid using the radio. They weren't rescued for another 3 days. Mine officials deny they failed to react quickly. They say they did all they could to find the men. There's been a low turnout in the French elections for a new National Assembly. But all the indications are that President Mitterrand's Socialist Party will have a clear majority. The only questions are just how big the majority will be and whether the communists and far right will win any seats. The results will be announced next week after a second round of voting. Golf, Sandy Lyle has won the Dunhill British Masters at Woburn. Lyle, who's also the American Masters champion, beat Nick Faldo and Mark McNulty of Zimbabwe by 2 strokes. And that's it. The next news from ITN will be on ITV at 6:30. See you then.
Well, now let's have a look at the weather. Tonight, rain will move into Northern Ireland, much of Scotland, the west of Wales and the west coast of England, but elsewhere it should stay dry. Temperatures will hold up well in the west as a southerly wind arrives, but it'll be cool enough in the east for some mist patches. Tomorrow, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales and the west of England will be wet with some fairly heavy rain. Central and northern parts of England will be cloudy with rain threatening, but the extreme east of England should see some reasonable spells of sunshine. It's going to stay cool in the west, but with the southerly wind easing off, while the sunnier east should turn out quite warm.
This summer on 4, an investigation into the selling of social messages.
If you won't give up smoking for yourself, do it for your kids.
Too many people in this country die too early from heart disease.
Hundreds of dead ends go into each bottle for that unique aroma of stale cigarettes.
The promotion of health, the first of a new series, The Marketing Mix Social Variety, starting tomorrow at 6:30 for summer on 4.
And now Peter Prendergast and Judith Dawson present the Business Programme.
Hello and welcome to the Business Programme. Today, Irish whiskey, the vulnerability of United Biscuits, the responsibilities of fund managers and water. We report from Dublin on the £168 million bid for Irish distillers. Can the Irish whiskey makers stay independent? United Biscuits chairman Sir Hector Lang warns fund managers against selling out British companies. But will UB itself now become a takeover target? A fund manager responds. David Prosser of Legal & General says institutions must look after their investors.